Why are you here, Dragai?
I'm here for you, O Queen. You took Xi's son.
No power staffs, old man. Just your will against mine.
Are you serious, Okwee?
I'm here to kill you.
Chronicles is a story about societies working together to create a more peaceful society. In this story, it's a bunch of different tribes that have magical ability or powers, and one tribe that doesn't, and they're warriors. And basically, they work together on the planet to keep the peace.
My name is Dennis Shackelford, and I am currently working as on-set director. Selway Studios is a very creative place to be and work with. Josh is great. He really wants to try and make sure that everybody understands the roles that each person has to develop in film, from the director's standpoint, director's assistant, the actors. It's really good because he's a great teacher and really wants everyone to be able to develop as a employee in the film industry.
Hi, I'm Joshua Michael. I am the producing director here at Chroniclesofaltearth. The Dragai, who are the magical tribe that was actually expelled from the planet, they want to come back and rule over all the tribes and everybody on the planet. So it's kind of a story of how do we try to keep peace amongst aggression.
My name is James Gartner. I'm the director of photography here at Selway Studios. The visual style of the Chronicles is very much inspired by sci-fi and fantasy films. It's really an homage to Star Wars and like the Marvel films. There's a lot of visual effects going on, so there's lots of bright flashing lights and things like that. It's pretty exciting and energetic.
The plot of this episode is Okwee is training Wraith in the expansion of power and the expansion of energy, and using that energy in a creative way as opposed to just a destructive way. I am a sci-fi fan, have been my entire life. In fact, the script we're working on right now is kind of my homage to everything sci-fi. So I have an homage to Star Wars, I have an homage to Doctor Strange, I have an homage to Harry Potter, and I love sci-fi and I love fantasy, and so I took this one script because there's a huge fight that goes on during the story, and wanted to say, how many films and projects can I pay homage to? Because as directors, we love to pay homage to our heroes. George Lucas is one of mine. So we got that, now we can move on? Yep. Okay, so let's do the Palpatine shot. I'm just gonna call it the Palpatine shot.
My name is Jared Broxburn, and I play the antagonist, Parsons. You know, I've never really done anything like this as far as like the fantasy action drama, and so being able to do this on a small scale, 5 minutes from my house, and be able to create this magic together, it's really fun and exciting to develop something like this and just see where it goes, because you know, the shots that you don't take, they're still a miss, so might as well just take it, see what happens. If it doesn't stick, move on.
The inspiration of this project was actually interesting. My co-writer, who's also my father, and I do a lot of writing together, and I had some VFX packs, that's a special effects or visual effects packs, that I wanted to play with. And so I called up my dad one day and said, hey, let's do these short vignettes, 2-3 minute vignettes where you have two characters and they fight, and we get to play with the VFX. And as everything else in my life, blew up to this big story because it just became this much bigger thing. And Rick and I both decided at some point to create this full feature film, and decided we would break it down into bite-sized sections to produce it, because we are on a shoestring budget, and so you do what you got to do in order to produce it. But I have a phenomenal team, and it's all coming together and working great. I'm super excited for the project. At some point when you end, I'm gonna make the ball and then throw it back at you. So you're gonna have to do something to end that. You know what I mean? To break that.
Am I starting from here?
No, you start the whole thing.
Okay.
I need to know when you're releasing it. You guys ready? Yep. Action.
My name is Renee Kay, and today I am a production supervisor where I get to be in charge of all the people and all the things. We joke all the time that, I want to be in charge of everything, so I get to do it with the title and all. Making sure everybody's in the right place, everybody has what they need, keeping things moving along.
We try to keep the production team pretty small so that we can move fairly quickly. We use a lot of natural light and just try and keep things a little bit low-key. A lot of actors, particularly if they're not experienced with a lot of film productions, get kind of nervous if there's a lot of equipment and gear and people around. So it helps them give a more natural performance, I think.
I like Selway Studios. I've been here pretty much since the beginning. I'm usually in front of the camera or behind the camera creating different storylines, characters, character development.
Josh is able to attract amazing people, and so to work with these talented, collaborative effort people is amazing, and he really knows how to celebrate you and pull everything out of you that he can see as your potential, help you to feel confident within it and to shine in that area, creating opportunities upon opportunities unlike anything else anywhere else that I've seen.
What are you doing, brother?
Okay, look. In my head I kept thinking, what if I used it that way? And I like the way you're doing it.
Okay.
So just do the way you're doing.
My name is Ilsa Ambika Ryan, and I play Wraith, or Oriel, in Chronicles of Alt-Earth. What excites me most about this story? Well, first of all, I got to film in Mexico, so I'd say that's pretty exciting. I'm obsessed with sci-fi and magic and those types of shows and films, and so that I get to be a part of that is just incredible. So I lived in LA and acted in LA for quite a while, but I am originally from Montana. And I never thought that I would get a role like this here in Montana. So that is really cool. That excites me a lot. And we get to film in these beautiful areas that I grew up going to, that I love, that are a part of my heart. And that feels pretty powerful, actually. I love this casting crew. It is one of the coolest sets that I've ever been on. Very much family vibes, and I know people say that a lot, but this is for real family vibes. Josh,
Close up on
director and person who's putting this together, producer, main head of Selway, his wife does a lot of the food, and his family's on set, and the whole group of people, it really feels like we have come together and created a community. I've always believed in magic, and I believe that there's a way that we can harness our energy and create and manifest things. And so to get to tell a story in a much more elaborate way like that, and to go to different planets and all of that. So that is pretty cool.
One of the unique things about Selway Studios is I personally like to work with a small crew. It allows me to work through a set quicker. I work a lot with people who have never worked in a certain field, and I will teach and train them how to do that. My goal is to get my entire production team able to, at times, step into whatever role they need to for whatever production. And that makes everybody very versatile, which means that no matter how the dynamic is, we always have a production team that can go from point A to point B and get the project finished.
It's cool on this side because you can see his reflection. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
That looks really sick.
The thing I like most about working with Selway is the people. It's just a great team. Everybody's really passionate, really dedicated, easy to get along with. We have a lot of fun, but we also make some pretty cool stuff.
That was the best one yet. That was my
Working with Josh is kind of like being a half of one brain, because there's so many times when I'll be working on something and he'll come up and have an idea, and that's the idea that I was already working on, or I'll suggest something to him and say, why don't we try this, and he'll have already had that idea as well. So it's just a really smooth and easy dynamic.
You good with that? Yeah. Okay. Are you? Yeah. Okay.
Can you do like one of whatever your last attack or defense was?
Oh, sure.
Go into that.
Okay.
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 I've always lived a life of going for the underdog, not going with the beat of everyone else's drum. There's 20 doors and there's a crowd going through one door. Go the other way. So what I like about Selway Studios is we're not inside the normal mold of filmmaking and independent filmmaking. We're on this mission and this journey together, and just believing that, hey, you know what? It's a matter of time before it works. Not if it works, it's a matter of time, because we're creating some cool stuff. So just moving with locals and just being able to support the local film industry, and that's what it's about. Collaboration, not competition here in Montana.
There you go. Putting that costume to practical use.
Teleportation will be a lot easier. Teleportation will be so much easier.
What excites me is the collaborative effort that it's bringing in kind of different concepts and different ideas, and then going beyond that, series and ideas and genres that have already been successful, that have created great following. And I think with this team and the ever expanding ideas, and us being able to bring our ideas, to be able to see something of, hey, I had an impact on that. I got to adjust that. Hey, that piece right there was me, or that piece was so-and-so, and for it to be able to grow. Probably a good analogy would be like watching a plant grow and bloom and become, all that it's supposed to be. So I'm excited to see as it unfolds, and then of course where it goes.
Josh really checks in with me a lot. I love working with him. He feels like a best friend, as well as director, producer. And he's just so excited and always so happy and positive about stuff. And for me, I really resonate with people like that. I really resonate with someone who can see the light in things and is so excited about their art and just wants to share it. And for me, I think I'm a very empathetic person. And so I take on the energy around me a lot. And so if I'm around people that are a certain way, closed off, it might make me close off. Or if I'm around someone who feels is judgmental, or is this or is that, I feel like I kind of get a little more rigid. And so what I love is I feel like I'm my best, highest self when I work with Josh, because I can just have fun and I can be playful and excited and all of the things that I feel like are me. So thank you, Josh, for allowing me to be all of myself, because that is huge. And to be able to be seen is a really big deal. And I think that he really does that. Working with Dennis, we've done a couple things on set already together, so I know him. He is a great director. He's awesome. He has done a lot of film stuff, watched a lot of films, has lived an awesome life. So he has a great perspective on things, hones in on little pieces, and at the same time very much lets us have free reign and do what we need to do too. So that I think is really cool. Thank you, Dennis.
Our production process is sort of unique, although I was inspired by a project that I saw on Netflix actually called The Old Guard. And I watched it and it was an episodic. And then a year or so later I went back and watched it again. It was a feature film. And it dawned on me that they had shot it in sections as they could afford it, and then did what's called a re-edit and put it together as its complete narrative. And so one of the things that I realized with doing fantasy is I have great VFX, and I've got a great VFX team, and we have our own in-house VFX house. Danny Baldwin that runs that. And so I realized we can do sections and cut up this project into smaller bite-sized pieces, go out, shoot that, produce it, put it out. We put things out in episodic through Film Hub. And that also can help finance the project as we're moving down producing. So we'll do an episodic, I put that out, and then I'll pull it down again when we do the final edit. Right now we're on, technically this is script 14, so I'm shooting a little bit out of sequence because right now I don't have enough done that I needed actually to be in sequence. So this we are using as a marketing tool for action and really intense scenes for Selway as well. So that's why I chose this one.
What excites me most about this project is the possibilities that we can show people of what we're capable of. And this small team in Montana, and we're making these projects that have what looks like multi-million-dollar effects going on. And it's just that the technology, I mean, 10 years ago, it would have taken millions and millions of dollars to shoot something like this. But with the visual effects technology that we have today, a small team like this can be capable to produce something that looks like a big budget Hollywood film.
Well, this is sci-fi. I've always liked sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings. You know, it's fun. It's fun fantasy, and that's what I like about it.
So, right here?
Yeah, that's a good spot there.
Rolling.
Rolling.
And action.
Josh's heart behind the whole thing. He has big heart, big ideas. He really knows how to celebrate people and make you feel seen and heard, and really helps to grow you. And so that's the biggest thing right there, is probably Josh's heart.
Yeah, I love that this cast and crew is a family. We're all very connected. We care about each other. We look out for each other on and off set. So even in our normal lives, I feel like everyone's checking in quite a lot, especially with Josh, the main producer of Selway. He just does a great job of making everybody feel welcome, making everybody feel loved. His wife oftentimes is on set, and I love that. His daughter is there sometimes. It just feels like such an incredible, immersive, family, loving, community vibes, which for me, getting into film, that was a big part of why I wanted to do film, is I grew up doing plays and being a part of creating, you know, a story together. And I just loved that by the time you're performing and by the end of the play, you feel like you've gained this whole crew and you've been through something together. And I love telling stories. And so for me, film isn't just about the spotlight or, I don't know, the money or the big deal things, the climbing the ladder. It really, for me, is about working as a group and everybody bringing together what they do best, what they love to do, shining in that, and in that, creating an awesome story. So I think that this cast and crew does a really awesome job of that.
I am Jaron. My dad is Joshua Michael, the director of this, and I'm basically running the backup camera and the behind the scenes camera.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm just capturing all the moments of the scenes of all this that, you know, this camera and that camera doesn't capture. So
I've been here since the beginning for the most part. Josh and his dad do most of all of the writing, but I have come up with several different things, from movie ideas to television pilots, as well as creating different characters for myself to play in some of these things.
The dynamic is awesome because we're a bunch of locals. We're a bunch of adults playing imagination, pretend. We work well together. The creativity, it's an open creativity, you know, we bounce each other's ideas off each other, and we communicate and respect those ideas, and if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. This is art. You know, so we're all artists, and the cool thing is we understand that, and so each person has something to bring to the overall painting. We all got our brushes, but at the end, we're creating this canvas as one, and it's fun. We're able to make magic.
I have a love-hate relationship with CG because it's a lot of fun, and when you understand what you're going to use prior to, it's very easy to internally set up whatever you're going to do to create that effect. If you're not sure, it's a little more challenging because you're not sure what exactly you're doing. And there are times when we'll do whole takes that are just throwing energy, catching energy, throwing energy, and we're not sure what effect necessarily is going to go in that space. But I love working like that in a way because it also gives me in the editing room an opportunity to just play around with different dynamics. And the story is always told in the editing room. And so no matter what you think the story is, oftentimes it can become much better and sometimes not so much in the editing room. And you just don't know until you get in that room and you start playing around with dynamics. What I value most about the production team is the fact that everybody is really engaged with the story. They're all, it's very much of a collaborative effort. I like to work very collaboratively. And so I'm constantly asking, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? They're tossing ideas. Everybody's engaged. The cast and crew, everybody, like I said, works very collaboratively. And that's one of the things I value most. I think to get the best story possible, you need as much input as you can. A wise man surrounds himself with people that are smarter than him, and I've lived by that most of my life, and I love working like that because oftentimes I have a vision or idea, and because of the collaborative process, it becomes so much better than what I even envisioned, and that's one of the greatest things I can say about this team.